All right. Yeah, no, good. Welcome back, everyone, to... God, I've got so many different things that I introduced in a week. I nearly said League of 72. Welcome back to the James Ryan Allcott channel. More importantly, welcome back to Jaffin. It is Friday, and then we're going to find out what really happened on the overlap. Now, I know we all saw what happened on the overlap, but what I'm trying to say is what really happened, you know?
Yeah, when I saw that link, like literally 2 minutes ago, when you said what really happened.
I mean, and that's what we're going to find out today, guys. Stick around. Great podcast ahead, because we're going to find out what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it. It's all there. They didn't cut anything out. So, I mean,
well, yeah, I do want to talk about that. Can we talk about that? Because it was there. So basically, the overlap, it's so hot right now. Flav, you are so hot right now. I think if we can go to Gary Neville's Twitter account, you are in G Nev's. You are living in his mind rent free at the moment.
I'm pretty sure that he has a team that does that. And really,
hang on, let's go. There he is. There he is. There's Flav. Oh my God, Paul Machin as well.
Yeah.
But what really happened?
What really happened was. It took me 5.5 hours to. Don't worry about the train. Doesn't matter. You turn up. You're held in a room. You get some water, some food. Talk to the producers a bit, and then they stick you in there. And then in comes Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, and Jamie Carragher. It's the second one I've done, so it's not. It's like
that's old news, isn't it? It is old news for someone as experienced and successful as yourself.
But this is it, isn't it? When you are really, really successful, sometimes it comes sort of. Just a little bit sort of blasé, all this stuff, really.
Sam Hansen says, because we're live, aren't we, on the main channel today? For those of you arriving late. Yeah, just to warn you again, because I think we've had that in the past where you thought we were on the other one where we can cut stuff out. Can't do that today, so just to warn you. Okay. Alex A says, Flav is so hot. Sam Hansen says, my God, he's hot. Rob Turner, you are so hot, Flav. Okay?
Thank you.
So people understand. Welcome, Sluggies.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's when it's you, and then you got Ty on the other side. It's not hard, is it? You just got to be normal, really.
Yeah. I did. It's great viewing. I've got to say, it's great viewing. And everyone brings.
Do you think so?
I do think so, and it brings different elements. You all bring different little styles. I'm noticing. So, for example. Ty started off going, look, we all had a bit of banter last time, but today's different. I'm an adult. Let's just have a calm conversation. Arsenal have won a couple of games, so we can all just chill a bit, can't we? And then Carragher said nothing really, and then Taj went, yeah, but we've got the Invincibles. We've got a gold track. What? And then he said something about Usain Bolt. It's just like, and I think it cut to you, and you just went.
I did it. I was absolutely lost in that moment. Like, and the thing is that obviously that if you look at what we're talking about is Ty going up against Jamie Carragher. And last time they had a bit of back and forth, and it went viral and whatnot. And so I think they were probably not consciously. This didn't come from Sky Bet's producers or Sky's producers or anything like that. But Ty was probably conscious of that being a good thing for him, and it was interesting, and he went for it again. But it was like, just talking about it in a footballing sense, like they are obsessed. What I didn't realise, and what I think Arsenal fans are struggling with, they want credit. They want to be considered to be, one of the big boys in the Premier League because of what they've done previously, and not knowing that that doesn't mean anything really, or you're only as relevant as
you are in that moment.
Yeah, as you are in this season. Doesn't matter what you've done last season. Look at what happened with Liverpool. They won the league. Next season, they're called the worst champions ever in the history of... Football doesn't remember, nor should it. It should always be about what you're about in terms of how relevant you are. And from listening to Ty especially, they want credit. They want to be recognised. And I think when they're not, rightly so, they're not in the conversation with Chelsea, Arsenal, or... but they're not on the same page as Liverpool. Spurs and Arsenal are comparable, right? So Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, they're all light years ahead of them, and and things can change very quickly in football. But at the moment, they are, and it was like they still, despite them being very average side, and Spurs are an average side as well, they need for everyone else to say to them, no, don't worry, you're still good.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's funny. It's so funny you bring that up, because I thought that was really, really glaring in it. And obviously, like, Ty and Pippa don't speak for all Arsenal fans, but they're just two prominent ones that have been brought forward for this, right? But that's what was amazing about them, was like they were going, well, at least still talk about us. It got to that stage. It was like, well, at least. But yeah, I know we're rubbish. I know we're not very good right now. But at least put us in the conversation. At least talk about
we were. So we need some credit. Like, why?
Yeah,
why
credit for what? What the fuck are you on about?
Well, that's exactly what I said to Adam, but just under my breath, because I didn't want to get into a. I didn't. In my head, I wanted to say something, but I couldn't have that. You can't.
They just go trophies.
How can you benefit from getting into an argument as two grown men? Like, we were two. Like, me and Ty are clearly the oldest people in that front line. And imagine a slanging match between us two. It would have been horrendously embarrassing for me, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But what really happened, though? You know, when I asked that question, what comes to mind? What really happened? Is there any little secrets that won't have been seen?
There was one bit I thought they were going to cut out, but they left it in. Which is when Jamie Carragher and Stephen McInerney sort of went for each other. Well, what happened was that Stephen was talking, and Stephen has a way and a style of presenting information in which you get a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why he's been successful, because he gives you more than most people would, right?
Exactly, content.
He's giving you sound bits, and he's giving you. But yeah, I think Jamie Carragher perhaps obviously is unaware of Stephen's style. Just at one point, I can't remember what it was verbatim, but more or less said, "Shut the fuck up. I want to go home at some point tonight."
Will you shut the fuck up? So I
was like,
sorry, go.
So as you're watching this, as this happens live, it's a lot slower than it was in reality. So I was shocked. Like, I was sitting there, I was like, where did that come from? Like, why is, and then it felt like ages before Stephen responded with, "Why don't you fuck off then?" Yeah. Which he needed to do, because if he hadn't done
comeback.
That,
it was a good comeback.
What do you like in that? That was the right. He managed to ride that. Whereas Adam, I was talking to Adam McCullough, he was sitting next to me, and he was like, "Thank God he did that, because if he didn't, that would have been."
Yeah, imagine he just goes.
Sorry.
Oh.
I don't know what I would have done, because I think I would have been angry. I would have been really angry, and I don't think I would have been as quick as Stephen was to come back at him and say, "Why don't you fuck off?" That would be kind of thing I would think on the train home, thinking I should have said that. And I don't know what I'd have done, because I don't think I'm going to be able to contain my anger. I'm not exactly like I'm going to launch myself at Jamie Carragher, but I don't think in all consciousness, would have been able to stay there and sit there for the rest of the show after just being mugged off like that. It would have been so hard.
Yeah.
But Stephen saved it. He saved it.
He did do well. Just say, we got a super chat. A cash Riv, thank you, mate. Ty can't listen to a single Arsenal criticism. Yeah, I think I've noticed that as well. I just wanted to read what you tweeted, messaged me. Don't worry, it's safe. You went, I said, how did it go? Because we were trying to figure out when we were going to do the pod today. And you went, yeah, it was good. Carragher absolutely violated McInerney when he said, "Will you shut the fuck up? You never stop talking. I want to get home at some point." And I went, "On camera?" And Flav went, "Yeah, it won't go in. It won't go in."
I couldn't. I don't know. Does he come across as bad?
I think Carragher's. Do you know what I think? Carragher feels a bit freer in those overlaps. I think he feels like he can have a bit more of a go, and so he does. And I think it makes for better content, to be honest. So it's okay. No, you've got to be ready though. You've got to be ready.
What's really good about it, and what they have nailed, is that when you do go there, you don't. It's not like, oh, look at these professional footballers, aren't they amazing? It's not that vibe at all. They've really managed to create a situation where you feel comfortable to challenge them and chat, and like they were talking to the producer beforehand about the stuff, talking about what's it called, the stuff with the owners of Newcastle and the Arabs. Sorry, not the fucking hell.
PIF.
Yeah, Saudi Arabian syndicate or whatever it is that bought them, and they said, yeah, just say whatever you want, ask them whatever you want, challenge them. Don't feel free to jump in. So it really isn't an audience with the football players. They really want you to get involved, which is nice, and they respond and listen. Just a bit gutted that Roy Keane went there because he was an absolute delight last time.
Yeah, he was. Was there? I did think that. Was it when they came out? Because I went, oh, it's Paul's. Oh, Paul's gone. Not Roy. Not even. Not Roy. That's a shame.
I mean, he was good.
He was
but
alright, Paul's goals. Yeah.
He's just. I think towards the end he was flagging a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, really nice, and they're really friendly. To be honest, I know they have to be to some degree, but yeah, afterwards they're shaking your hands and saying.
It's good though, like because I guess the more they do that, the more comfortable everyone's going to feel as well, which is going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt sorry for the people behind.
Yeah.
Because I just assumed it would be the 10 people that they've asked to come along. And there were loads of other people turn up, and they've had to stay. And we were filming for bloody ages. They had to stand up at the bottom. Like I was sitting down, and I was starting to flag towards the end of it. But yeah, no, it's a good thing to be involved in, and it is really enjoyable to do. And yeah,
that's good. It's good. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting forum that we've not seen before, and that's why I think people are so excited by it. Right, guys, we have a belter of a podcast. We've got some gym chat. We've got a bit of buffet talk. It's calming down.
You're lying because you said yesterday you went, "What are we going to talk about?" You can't have fixed that.
No, the comments were fine. It's football itself that's letting us down.
You said the community were letting us down. You're about done with this podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what, the community did let us down a little bit, right? So there's a guy.
Right.
I'm not gonna say his name, right? But he sent me a couple of message requests, and actually he's put it in the comments as well. And it's quite a long comment, right? And it's fine. And I think basically it's someone who has met someone once. So in the podcast we've got more rumours about why Donny can't get a game at Man United. We've also got I've met once, people have met, gym chat, buffer chat, and a bit of flames of ice at the end actually. But someone, I won't say his name, and I'm going to do the short version because Flav, you can see it in front of me now. See how long this comment is?
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. I'm not reading it around, but the essential bit of it is that this guy was at the races, and he was in queuing for it, and the next race was going to happen soon, and he was, I need a wee, I want to get to the race, blah blah blah, and he's waiting in front of a cubicle for ages, and then right at the end, David Seaman comes out and goes, maybe you want to give that 5 minutes, because he's had a poo, and I'm like, look, I'm all for toilet humour. But there's a line, and
what's wrong with that?
And he's won now. He's got it because he's got it in the podcast. But I didn't really he sent it to me on a few different platforms, and I'll be honest, Ben. I'll talk to you now, Ben. Ben, I didn't want to read it out. If I'm honest. So poor from the community is what I'm saying. 1 week ban. 1 week ban. I don't need to know that David Seaman had a poo. Full stop.
Imagine it though. Imagine the size of David Seaman's poo. Gargantuan. They're like a bag of sugar.
Yeah, because normally you get like a bloop, like a splash back up, but with David, it just sort of wedges. It just wedges.
Yeah, he's got a ruler next to his toilet to chop it up to get it down.
This is what I was worried about. Jack Richardson, morning lads, just checking in. Just had leftover tarka dal for breakfast. Am I bad for leaving a smell in the staff room this early in the day? Absolutely. Yes. You've got to be aware of this stuff. You are a scumbag, and I thank you for the super chat, but 1 week ban for you. You should. No,
that is. There is an etiquette in an office, right? And you must adhere to it. And one, stinking a kitchen out.
Yeah.
At any time, actually, don't bring food into the office that stinks when you cook it. There was a geezer I used to work with. I swear to God, I might have told you this before. He would bring in a Tupperware box with 2 bits of fish, and he would microwave. This was an office. This was an office that was just one single big room, and they had a little kitchenette thing, and he'd put it in the microwave, and the whole fucking place would stink of fish. And that, it's like everyone's got to work here, and you don't care just because you want your fish. You rolling your fucking boiled eggs on the table was pretty grim as well, Jim. I've got to be said. Like, I'm lying there working, and I'm looking across like this. Oh God, is that it again?
It smells.
Is that it again?
I'll stare
and
you
he
out,
just like this. He's just rolling.
And it creeped you up. Well, it helps with the shell. Let's get it off. I didn't do that. I did it once or twice. All right.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
like
true.
we saw. So we got Samisms today as well. We saw Sam at the weekend, Bull Street reunion. He had a he brought over some. We can tell them this, but we brought over some shots. Right. Sam had a couple of drinks. Brought over shots. Saw the big dog. He's looking well, looking trim, and Adam as well, who you think looks 52. You said it was harsh. Literally sat down. Flav like last to arrive, and we haven't seen each other for like 2 years because of the pandemic. And he goes, "Boy, what lads? You all good? Everyone good? You all right? You look 52. Fucking hell, what happened to you?" Brutal. He took it in his stride, Adam, as he always does.
I mean, obviously he doesn't look 52. I think that's what was funny about it. Yeah. Sam came back from the bar with a tray of what I presume was Sambucas.
Yeah. I think it might have been. Was it, or was it? He had Jaeger bombs. He bought Jaeger bombs. I was like, "This isn't Freshers Week. What are you doing?" And so we had that. But he was excited, and we appreciate that. And then he went and got these shots, and then he gets to about 5 yards away from us, and he just dropped them. Just dropped 9 shots. And so he then went back to the bar. I don't know if he was trying to drop these. Can you sort me out?
Some more.
He didn't. And then he came back and he'd forgotten he dropped a load of liquid in front of him and then stacked it from slimming. It's like did a little yeah, absolutely.
I thought he'd done his cruciate, the noises he was making.
That was it, because I went ha. I went straight away ha, and then you two went whoo, and ran to him straight away. I was like, oh, no,
I don't think. I felt it was probably quicker than before, but at the moment, I just saw him go over on his knee, and he was just holding it. And he's got like problems with his legs and stuff. So it was like, oh, maybe he's hurt himself. Then, like 5 minutes later, goes out into the street and just spews all over the street.
So yeah, it was a good night. He says that everyone keeps tweeting him when they have a Samism. Please continue to do that. Please carry on doing that.
They're tweeting Sam people.
Yeah, they tweet Sam all the time. It's
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Make sure you do it. Right, let's dive into this. The Jim Big Laugh Award, there is but one nominee. Mark Dobson, congratulations. Just checking in. A few episodes back, I told you guys how my wife has been subliminally influenced by the pod by saying less of that to my daughter. We recently had a new baby, and she is saying, has Phoebe done a sickie? Again, another proud day for me. Love the pod. Thanks, guys. I just thought what a moment. True influencing from us. By the way, guys, if you want to become a patron, basic costs less than a pint, we figured out, depending on your region. If you want to get involved, we do a mailbag every single week.
No one's getting a pint for less than £4.
Well, actually, someone said you need to get yourself down to Portsmouth, because apparently you can get a pint for less than £4. But if you
I've been to Portsmouth. I'd have to stay in Portsmouth to drink. No one wants to do that. Yeah,
exactly. Good point. So if you do want to join us, link is in the description. Get involved. Quotes of the week.
I went down to Portsmouth once with Spurs. Spurs played them. I can't remember who it was. Jermaine Defoe and Crouch were up front for us. I got off the train and I was like, oh god. And there's a really, what I would imagine is a bit of a naughty pub when you come out the train station.
Moody.
I went into the stadium. Honestly, I know there's this whole thing about, the old school stadiums, isn't they great? And it's like, that's what football should be. That isn't what. It's horrible. It was horrible. It's impossible to get into. There's hardly any pissers. There's a tiny little calf. That isn't what you want. I mean, I'm not saying you want what the Tottenham Stadium is, where you can get naan bread and noodles. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's definitely not Fratton Park anymore. That's what I'm saying.
I went to Fratton Park in 2011, I want to say, and it literally was, as you walk round and then get to the away end, literally just a long line of people pissing against the wall.
Yeah, that's what you're reduced to, a fucking animal.
Yeah.
When you go and watch.
Yeah. Everyone just gets on with it, don't they? And no one's getting arrested. You do that normally. Do that in the high street, you're in trouble, aren't you?
I mean, I know it's a cliche now, but I remember going Spurs in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, and there would be streams of piss just running down the turnstile, the terrace, because you couldn't get to the toilet. It was so packed, you couldn't get to the toilet, and certainly you couldn't get back to find out where your family was. So you make sure you'd have a piss before the game. But for those who hadn't thought about it, it was just, I'm just going to get my cock out and piss on the floor in front of everybody. Or look like you're pissing on people, practically. That's what football used to be like.
Yeah, those are the good old days. That's what I miss. That's what I miss.
Good old days.
I miss it
when each other at the football.
I go, Dad, why are you bouncing up and down? He goes, I need a piss. Piss on me. I'd say to him, you can wee on me if you want, Dad. We're at the football. You can wee on me.
Yeah, like if you don't know English football if you haven't had another man's cock in your pocket at least 4 or 5 times,
warming you up on a cold December evening. That's real football, guys. Game's gone.
Football.
Game's gone.
Game has gone, mate. The game has gone.
Quotes of the week. Tom Spencer, quote of the pod: mashed potato. No more than that needed. And then the stunned look on Flav's face was brilliant. The one of someone who had just seen their pet being run over. No, yeah, that was great. But check out last week's podcast if you haven't. Second half, for some reason I just said mashed potato, and you were describing this burrito thing, and you were very polite actually. If you watch it back, you go, no, burrito. Very good. So yeah, I had my sandwich moment. Josh Vickers, quote the pod: look, kids, Gatto has had me crying for a solid 10 minutes.
So funny.
So good. And Isaac Humphrey, quote the pod: I hope my story encourages others to talk about their experiences about Sol Campbell. We did have a long one, but it was Tory bashing, and I just it was just long. I couldn't be asked about that. We spoke about the Tory and Labour, the anger towards the Tories in our mailbag, didn't we?
I remember.
I got called a what was it on the Football Manager thing? I got called a Tory something or other. What was that? Okay. Comments of the week.
Yeah, I'll leave it.
I know. It's for a mailbag, isn't it? I was only half listening, but is comments of the week. But is Flav suggesting we liquidate Andorra now?
Yeah, there was a lot of snowflakes in the comments, weren't there?
He's gone there. Yeah, not everyone got it. Not everyone.
Welcome to the real world, people.
So you made it very clear, and you were very serious in the points that you were making, that international football should be squashed and rejuvenated via a top team framework, which sounded a bit like the Super League. But you were speaking somewhat in jest, I'd say.
No.
Oh.
No. Oh. I mean, I was having fun, right? But all I was trying to find a way was like not having these international breaks in the middle of the season, and one of the ways of doing it is not making the biggest clubs that always qualify have to go through it, and make the little clubs do it, the little countries do it, so they can qualify and playing games that they're actually competitive in. That was all my point was. It was just a suggestion. I don't know why anyone was crying so much. It was.
I was quite angry, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were quite angry. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, England are going to qualify, right? They are going to qualify. So are Brazil. So are all of the top clubs.
But they don't always qualify. That's the thing.
All right. Here's a more simple. Yeah, but if they don't qualify, the tournament's less good, isn't it?
That's not true.
All right. I'll stop. But the thing is, Jim.
Yeah.
Don't play home and away then. Just do like one round robin. I mean, so one group. All I'm asking for is not to have to watch shitty friendlies. No one gives or internationals. No one gives a shit about, with 3 breaks in the start of the domestic season. I don't want that.
Okay. What do you want? Do you want the breaks spread out a bit more? Is that what you want?
I just don't want them. I don't want international qualifiers. There should be some way of doing it so we don't have to qualify.
That's ridiculous.
And I'll be happily say that, all right, if that means England are not in it, that's fine. Just don't fuck up the domestic season.
He doesn't mean that.
What do you come up with a solution then, James? You just sit there. This is the problem.
Here's my solution. Do you want a solution? Stop moaning. Stop moaning. Enjoy the break. That's what I say. Shut up. I don't know what you're moaning at. Do you want?
I don't know. What's happening, James, is I'm turning as my dad. And I'm moaning about stuff. I'm getting angry and irritated about something that really doesn't matter.
Like, it really doesn't matter.
I'll be screaming at the news one day. Yeah. It doesn't matter, and I do enjoy the break. I don't. What do you want me to do? Be vanilla on this podcast and say nothing?
No, I'm not. I'm just. I thought this was your chance to go. I was only having a joke, but you clearly not.
Everybody hates the international break. It's not a Tory. I'm not a Tory nonce for saying that I don't like international breaks. No one does.
Okay. Solanum linium. Sorry, that's terrible. I've absolutely butchered it. Andorran boy
Or
turns.
I'll tell you what then, just quickly then, just don't make us play Andorra, Faroe Islands, stuff that is a formality. Yeah?
I mean,
pointless. It is pointless, us playing the Faroe Islands, isn't it? What is the point?
Possibly there's something where you have those countries that are really, really struggling. You maybe needle that out a little bit just to allow for a higher standard of quality from those few, but not from all of them because there's too much variance. Norway will be rubbish for 15 years and then they'll birth Haaland and Stefan Johansson.
No, I get. So what we're agreeing is the really weakest, poorest, we cull those.
Yeah, again, culling is not fair, I would say.
Liquidate, as that man said.
Yeah.
So what we say is you just remove them. You remove the problem.
Yeah.
It's
like a cyst.
This is kind of like what the Chinese government do to homeless people during the Olympics. Just remove them. Just get rid.
Okay. Shoot him a
Get rid
Gavin.
of Andorra. Get rid of
Liquidate them. I can't even imagine the hardship people like Flav have to go through when England play a small country in a qualifier and he isn't interested. He must feel like a prisoner for those 2 hours, not knowing where to turn or what to do. I'm crying right now.
So true.
Yeah.
It is. And this is the thing is it obviously it doesn't impact me and I should just shut up.
Yep. Agreed. Finally we agree. Let's just have a look at the fixtures for the weekend. Don't do derby games anymore, do we? Sort of that ran its course a little bit. There's a West London derby. I mean, sort of. It's like a Middlesex and West London derby. Brentford take on Chelsea. QPR playing Fulham at 12:30. I'll be there, smashing up some Fulham fans. Should be fun. But do you know what? The big game we've got to have a little touch on. Bruce versus Nuno. If that's not a 4:30 on Sunday, I don't know what is. Exciting times.
Was that? Did they just put it quickly on telly because of what's happened to Newcastle, or was it always planned?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was. I think it was always planned.
The idea that this money is there will somehow transform Newcastle into a team that isn't second bottom.
I think it's. I mean, everyone in that series of games that weekend. I mean, yeah, Leicester at 3 on a Saturday seems a bit strange to me.
Leicester Man United, that'd be a great game.
That would be a good game. And Brentford Chelsea is the 5:30, so fair enough.
Sure, Everton West Ham was a good game on Sunday. A little bit of needle. They don't like each other.
Yeah, they don't because they're always that's the he's not ready for a big team. He needs to go to a Everton or West Ham derby. That's what that one is. But yeah, Bruce. So I did a video earlier in the week. Apologies, I went early. I went Steve Bruce gone, and I started the video by going, well, he's pretty much gone, isn't he? And then went into who could be the manager, because of course he is obviously going to go, right?
Yeah, it's a fair thing for you to say, James.
Yeah,
and it's quite clickbaity and antagonistic, which is exactly what you want.
That's the one clickbait I do, which I'm like, I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I just want to get ahead of everyone because I did it with I can't remember. It might be like Pochettino's had gone to PSG or something, and I was like, it's done, innit? Come on, it's done. It is done. It's not done. Do you know what I mean?
Steve Bruce is the dead man walking, 100%. There's no chance.
I
think it's only a matter of time. Like, what do you do if you're Steve Bruce here? Like, the right thing for him to do is walk away. Just say, well, fuck you.
Sit tight. You take your 8 mil. That's what you do. There's no way he's taking all this abuse and he's not going to take the payout. You sit tight with a big smile on your face. Yeah. There was one comment going, I for one, are going to be sad that I'm not going to be able to see a Cornish pasty spend 500 million. It's a shame. It is a shame. God bless him. No, he deserves that payout. Do you know what I think is going to be so weird in this game?
Why does he deserve the payout? He deserves it because he signed the contract and for no other reason.
Yeah.
All right.
He's taken a lot of abuse. He's taken a lot of abuse.
Because he's been terrible. He's not. I don't understand why Newcastle suddenly have loads of money and now Steve Bruce isn't the problem with why they're shit. Of course he's the problem. They've won 7 games in 37.
It's a crap squad though. It's a terrible, terrible squad.
Oh fuck! My camera's gone.
Your camera's gone. But that's the thing. I think that's so in the video. That's what I said was like, what? First of all, he's not spent that much money. And he's not used that many players, and he's not been able to sort of change it up. And actually, I saw an article, and I was like, what a great title to an article, and it said 6 managers that have been worse than Steve Bruce, and they were all recent history. It was like Joe Kinnear, McLaren. There was like Ozzy Ardiles, which was a while ago, but like there's managers like that. You're frozen again, or is it me?
No, it's not.
Don't worry. You can just keep talking. It's still, that's a nice picture of your face, anyway. Yeah, all those. Oh, you're back. All those things. All those managers had struggled as well. They just weren't around as long. You're frozen again.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Just
keep all right. Just carry on.
So yeah. So I think there's an element where he can he can not hold his head up high and not walk out with a new level of respect, but he can move. He can leave having tried his best. There you go. That's sad. That is sad.
Yeah, but then he gets £8 million for it, so it's not the end of the world.
That's true. That is true. Do you So what I wonder with this is, he's at St James's Park. He hits 1,000 games, and the anger that's been kind of chucked towards him over the last few years, has been like vitriolic. Do Newcastle fans, knowing that he's going to leave, will they be kind to him this weekend? You can be little.
I don't know.
Let's have you little.
Yeah, I've got.
Just be little. Just be little.
Scale me up. I mean, I think they realise that the things are going to go on to be better. They're going to feel like the Ashley thing is done and dusted, and they've got a future that's much more hopeful for them than they would have been otherwise. To now still chastise Steve Bruce is pretty harsh.
But that's kind of like hypocritical in itself, isn't it? Like the fact that everyone's been like, before. You are scum. You shouldn't be able to walk the streets. And then even people going, 1,000 games. Well done, son. No. You're a good lad. You're a good lad. It was just a joke. And now that everything's fine, now you've got so much money. I'm not saying people would do any different. I'm just saying it's weird, isn't it? It's going to be weird. Like the anger that's been thrown towards him, but now they know it's going to be okay. They'll let him off. They'll all be a lot nicer. Hey, Sam People's in the chat. Hey. Shots anyone, he says.
Is he there?
Yeah. How are you, Sam? Hope you're all right. Give us a Samism if you got one. Actually, let's go to Samisms. Let's do it. Let's dive in. Couple of Samisms, Sam. See what you think. Dean Ferguson. Just had a Samism at a wedding. He said, "Give the bridal party a big hand of applause." Actually, I can do that. I can do that. Hang on. You can't hear it, Flav, but don't worry.
I can't, but
It worked brilliantly. Ben Lothian. Great Samism from my dad today. He said, I spat my pram out. Great mix between spat my dummy out and throw my toys out the pram. I spat my pram out. And this is good. Joe Carroll, I just had a job interview, and at the ripe age of 22, I was told by the employer, well, when you're 22, you can do anything. The world's your lobster. I laughed. He did not. And fundamentally, I did not get the job. It's a shame. Let us know what you think about that, Sam, in the chat. Also, let us know what you think about some of the rumours that are circulating around Donny van der Beek. Can't get a game. Cannot get a game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But why? Why can't he get a game? Well, the rumours are circulating, and there's been a few more this week. Let's see what the people seem to think might be the case. Adam Lewis. Why Ollie won't play Donny? Hi, lads. Now, this isn't confirmed, but sources say it's mostly confirmed, allegedly. So, Ollie has an on-running joke in training where a player will go down injured, in which he runs over and sticks his finger up their bum, which he calls the magic finger. Very funny. Donny, being the new guy, wants to join in on the banter and break the ice. On Donny's first day, Ollie joins in training, in which he falls over the ball. Donny spots his opportunity and capitalises on it. He runs over and slips his finger up Ollie's bum. Ollie lets out a small gasp of enjoyment. When he looks up, everyone has stopped. The training ground is silent, waiting for a response. Everything paused for a long 5 seconds before Ollie stumbled to his feet and shouted, "What are you staring at? Get back to training!" Everyone continued, but it wasn't the same. Ollie walked over to Donny and whispered, "My office, now." And that is why Ollie won't play for Donny, allegedly. That's one rumour. Sean Peake, he says he's heard a rumour that straight after the contract signing, Ollie shook Donny's hand, and Donny blurted out, "Wow, Gaffer, it amazes me that you managed to have this extensive football career and followed the fellowship around Middle-earth." To this day, Donny still doesn't realise that Ollie isn't actually Gollum. And Ollie's obviously a bit upset about that. And STH, on Van der Beek, my nan's cousin, Kat's masseuse, does a bit of work on the side for Man United. She said that Ollie has been furious with Donny since Ollie was mid-yawn and Donny interrupted it by putting his finger in his mouth. Ollie hasn't been able to do a satisfying yawn since. So these are some of the reasons why, maybe.
So on the overlap, a lot of the conversation was about Manchester United's midfield. It's still a big problem. Like they've signed Varane, they've got Sancho and Ronaldo, but their midfield is still like the bone of contention. How do you get Pogba into it? Should Fred and McTominay play? Why isn't Van der Beek? All of the same things that the issues that they had in midfield previously are still there. It's just funny, like a couple of games, like 7 games into the league last year. Sorry, at the beginning they started well, and obviously Ronaldo buzz and all that kind of stuff. But what are they going to do? Well, what's success for Manchester United this season? How does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keep his job without winning the league? I don't think he can. So, and if that midfield, if you've got Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, and Adam McCullough all having different suggestions about how you fix the midfield in Manchester United, none of them absolutely sure what will work. There's still issues there for sure.
Yeah. Didn't expect such deep football analysis there, Flav. It's obviously been troubling you. You're all right.
I don't know.
It's a bit fun. I think I've got another video that's my problem with, and it's to do with Man United. But I've done 2 my problem videos in the last 2 weeks, so I'm like, I'm just gonna hold it back for a second, just because. But I think there's a different problem. Peter Kelly with a super chat. I made a comment read out last week about Donny. It wasn't meant to be part of the joke, just a general point as to the Donny issue. Okay.
Is that the one? Isn't that the one you went?
Not everybody got it.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to. He wanted to
clarify that. That's fine. No. Well, look, this is the problem you have.
This is the one where he was saying he hasn't been given the minutes to prove himself or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem. People forget that this is a very manipulative relationship where you're gonna sort of put out stuff and you just don't know how it's gonna be received. You might get banned for a week, or you might get lauded, and as much you just don't know. You're on eggshells all the time, and it's abusive. It's an abusive relationship that we're in right now.
And I don't care.
And I honestly am not bothered about it. And
you keep fucking coming back. Pathetic.
Yeah, can't help yourselves, can you? But that one time where you put a comment in and you go, "This is the last one." And then we read it out and we go, that is hilarious. You're going to feel top of the world. You are going to feel top of the world. So hang in there. Solenum put forward a new bit last week saying, imagine being the third person in a room. Could it become a new segment? We've got 1 this week. So
Not bad.
It's crawling.
Okay.
Russell Miller, imagine being the third person in the room when Jose Mourinho told Mohamed Salah, you're not going to make it, buddy. The exit is on your left. That is it is amazing how the players that Chelsea have lost over the years that have gone to be like frighteningly good. But it just shows how well run the club is to a point, weirdly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They're either through their recruitment or their development. Lukaku came through pretty much through the youth setup. He was there from a very young age, at least. Same with De Bruyne. I know they were bought. You know what I mean? Fundamentally, they had the talent scouting network and the ability to nourish this talent. But yeah, the fact that essentially De Bruyne and Salah are probably the best 2 players in the league, and they both Chelsea let both of them go.
Isn't that mad? That is crazy. That is crazy.
But then they didn't. The Salah that Liverpool bought wasn't the Salah that Chelsea sold. He was really good. I remember the first time I noticed him was Spurs were playing against Basel in might have been probably Europa League.
Oh.
And it might have been Champions League, I'm not sure. And I was like, who is this kid? This geezer's amazing. He must have been quite young there. It must have been, I think, 2011. I was like, he scored twice. And he's playing on the left-hand side. And it's like, this kid is incredible. Like, when sometimes you're like, you're playing Basel and you think Spurs will beat Basel all day. and then there's just this guy on the pitch who dominates everything, and that was what Mo Salah was. And then Chelsea bought. I think he had another brilliant game against Chelsea as well, and they ended up buying him.
Do you know what's crazy is the fact that at the end of this season, the top 3 teams, the most important player for the top 3 teams will most likely be a player that was on Chelsea's books that they could have kept hold of. Lukaku. Salah, De Bruyne. Crazy. Matic.
Yeah.
Matic for Man United, of course. Do you know what I was just thinking? Just popped into my head. Last thing on Newcastle. Who will be... Obviously, that whole squad's going to get an overhaul. But who's going to be... And this is one for the chat. And by the way, guys, if you are watching, could you just do me a favour and like the stream? That would be amazing. Who will be the last member of the Newcastle squad, of the current Newcastle squad, to survive?
Maximum and Willock, probably.
Willock might hang around. Yeah, that's true.
And
I think there's one of the goalkeepers could stick around if he just wants to kind of just continue to get the payday.
Who are they? I can't remember who
their goalies are quite good.
Steve Harper.
They got Freddie Woodman, who played in that last game. Carl Darlow, Steve Harper, yeah. Pavel Cernacek, Martin Dubravka. Their goalkeepers are quite good. But these guys it is over, isn't it? I'm trying to think who survives. Lascelles, maybe. Can Jamal Lewis get more of a chance? He hasn't even been starting recently. Almiron.
What do you in terms of that? What do you anticipate it being how Newcastle go about spending their money? I know they're going.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think. Do you know what's? I think about QPR when we had the takeover, but we had a newly promoted team that was kind of seen name-wise as not good enough, and we just bought as many players as we could. People can go, be measured. If they're 19th in the league, they've won 2 games all season, and they're on 12 points or whatever it might be. I don't know what they're on at the moment. Then they, regardless of what they would like to do and be measured and all that stuff, they will panic. They will definitely panic. And so they then will spend as much money as they can. I was doing ESPN this morning, and they were looking at the shortlist of players. Apparently, there's been this leaked shortlist of players that might come through, and it was the usual suspects. It was Loftus-Cheek, Barkley, Tarkowski, Jesse Lingard, Phil Jones, Matic.
All players in the first instance that will keep them up. You know what I mean? It will give them something like.
But this is the thing, right? So yes, if you start the season and they've got them in that squad, then yes. But if at the moment they're on 3 points. They're on 3 points, right?
They could go down. They're in danger.
Massively, they could go down.
Luckily, they're playing Spurs next week, which.
Yeah, but the pressure is on them as well. That's the thing. So they're in the bottom 3 already, haven't won a game, and the pressure's on them, and they can't buy a player till January. So if you get to January and they're on 9 points or something stupid, really cut adrift, even if you wanted to buy not the elite players, you didn't want to completely throw ridiculous cash on it, you'll throw more than you want to just through the panic of wanting to stay in the division. So we brought Djibril Cissé in, who if we're gently climbing, it was a bit of a weird, dangerous signing. But we needed a striker. We were in massive trouble, and we needed to fix it now or yesterday. So what's going to be interesting is that if it gets to January, and you're really, really struggling, will they just panic and go and get Coutinho and go and get Sterling? Nabaid was saying earlier this morning. He's saying something just go that ridiculous with it.
Well, I mean, look, fundamentally, forget what happens in the future. They've got to stay in the Premier League. So, just to be able to spend some of this money, in order to do it. If their revenues are slashed like they are, then it doesn't matter how many billions they have. They can't spend it and be compliant with league rules and Premier League rules.
I hope so.
So they stay. If they get Sterling on loan, which is crazy as it sounds, he has said that he might have to go elsewhere to play first team football. He's only started 1 game since September, so he might be available on a loan. and they can get someone like, they need a new manager. That's the first thing. Like even a decent manager would take this squad and keep it up.
Yeah,
like Brendan Rodgers would keep this up. So he said Brendan Rodgers already said he's not leaving Leicester.
Has he said that? Okay.
Yeah. So they are. I mean, look, they got their best. They're in a much better situation than they were. They looked like they were all but doomed from the first 7 games that you played. What I want to say is, I spoke to a gentleman called Lee Lawler who runs the Newcastle fan channel, and I was expecting them. There was 2 Newcastle fans at the overlap, and I was expecting them to be really smug and look, we've got all the money. Look how rich we are, and they were so humble and just said, look, it means we can hope for something. We can just, we might be able to actually buy some players. We're not talking about Mbappe, like just buy players that make us at least hopeful that one season we might be able to get into the top 10 or finish top 6, maybe play in Europe again. We're not saying it will happen, but we're just saying, look, got an opportunity to actually be a little bit more hopeful than I really hope we stay in the league this season. It kind of resonated. They weren't assuming that they weren't going, yep, we're going to buy Mbappe and we're going to get Coutinho and we're going to sign X, Y, and Z. It wasn't that attitude or that energy. It was very much, thank God, Ashley's done.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, fair enough.
And now we can just at least be a little bit more hopeful of the future. But I did an interview with a football finance expert called Dr. Tom Basin, I think his name is. And I was asking him to break down how important is it that Newcastle stay compliant to the Premier League rules more so than financial fair play? Because financial fair play only impacts European clubs, right? If you're in Europe, so it doesn't impact you if you're not in Europe. So it would only be a problem if they really overspend and then they get into the Champions League and then they're not compliant, right? But with the Premier League, it's different. Now, the teams that are most likely to breach Premier League rules are those that are in Champions League or European football, right? And because they're already being compliant to financial fair play, you never really hear about the Premier League rules because it only impacts the clubs that aren't in Champions League football or European football. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the team that's really running the risk of getting sanctions imposed by the Premier League is Everton. They're really close to. You're allowed to spend £105 million over 3 seasons. That in terms of investing in your squad and not recouping it, right? If you breach that, you immediately your ability to sign players and register new players with the league is removed and revoked, and you can't sign new players until you become compliant. So that's never happened, obviously, because for the reasons I just said. But Everton are quite close because they were speculating because they've got a lot of money. They're actually the 3rd richest club in the world if they're allowed to spend their money. They're worth 15 billion. With Newcastle in this situation where they've got that window, that buffer of 105 million to be able to spend. They've also got a period of where they haven't sold anybody. Haven't bought anybody. So they've got a window there of about another 90 million. So it gives them about 200 million that they can spend without recouping. And that's really important that they do that correctly because they don't have anyone in their squad that's really saleable apart from St. Maximin.
Right. Because after that £200 million kitty, they then will, like Everton kind of did, where they spent all that money on Davy Klaassen and Sigurdsson and Rooney and all those people.
Yes.
It isn't an endless pot. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, because if you break, essentially you'll have a transfer ban put on you. You won't be able to register new players with the league. You might be able to, if you was in Europe, play them there because financial fair play is different, but probably not. So basically that's why Everton can't spend any more money. They spent 1.6 million essentially in the summer.
Right. Yeah. Also, I think looking at La Liga's model, like the fact that Messi had to go because when they're doing their financial fair play, they have it's forward. You project forward, and there's like a formula that La Liga provides and says, okay, this is your looking at the spending that you've got and the spending that you're going to have over the next few years. This is the amount that you can spend. And so with Messi, they needed to sell all these different people, and it kind of restricted them that way. I wonder if that's a route that it'd be interesting to see if we end up going down that road as well for teams, just to allow that, because La Liga, can say, oh, you can't be losing a player like Messi to La Liga, but by staying strong in that moment, I think teams will be better behaved going down the line, because you've set a precedent now, and so I think that moment's going to come with us.
Yeah, I guess so. I also think, like, in terms of the restrictions in the Premier League are for one, they protect the football club from going into administration because they can't speculate frivolously. But it also creates a much more difficult gap between the elite that exists and the status quo that exists at the top of the league and those that are at the bottom that might have, like Newcastle, an incredibly rich benefactor now, which really gives them an opportunity to penetrate that top 6 or top 4. But they can't because they're not generating the revenues of Champions League football to offset some of the spending that they would have on transfers. So it is a little bit unfair. I think there should be probably 2 caps. There should be a cap at 105 million, which it currently exists for teams that are in European football. And if you're not, that cap is perhaps 130, 140 million to somewhat compensate, if you can speculate, compensate for the fact that you're not getting that Champions League money or European money. And that would give a team like Newcastle or anybody else that happened to, if Norwich, someone bought out Norwich or someone bought QPR, it would give them an opportunity to do, to a lesser degree, what Man City and Chelsea did. And you got to look at that Man City side, James, right? They really benefited there because there was no real safeguarding against that kind of spending at the start. So they were able to do it. Yeah, and it's because of them that, and PSG, that it's more difficult to spend the money than it was before, and that's correct. But really, they
free cheers for Sheikh Mansour.
They really won the lottery. They really won the lottery because it was, yeah. And to be fair, as we was driving through Manchester, and I was talking to the cabbie, and he was talking about the stuff you don't see and what Man City, their board has done to renovate that area and the investment they've put into the community and how much it's done for the local area in terms of investment and opportunity and jobs. You don't see that, you just see the football stuff, but they have really been a positive influence in Manchester. I mean, from that perspective, I know it's easy to criticise the background of these people, but that is the truth, and that is likely to be what's going to happen with Newcastle as well. So
3 cheers for sports washing. Hip hip.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, but it's not. It's fact. This is what's happening. Sports washing is happening here. But sometimes there are benefits to that.
But weirdly, the byproducts of sports washing is helping people's lives,
local community, as well as it's benefiting in other ways. It's like the whole argument about Lance Armstrong again. Yeah, he cheated at riding a bike, but he did do a lot of work for cancer. So what's more important?
Yeah. There's another example from a Dave Chappelle special, but I'm not going to talk about it. Right. I think more important than any of that is Robin's story about meeting Neil Warnock, because it's very heartwarming. Let's discuss. Robin said that I once met Neil Warnock when I was working at a garage in Cornwall. Famously, Neil Warnock loves Cornwall. He needed new number plates fitted, and as the apprentice, it was a simple job for me to do. As I was removing them, I broke one of the screws off and looked at my boss, and his face was a mix of anger and pure disappointment that he'd taken on a woman instead of a 6-foot handsome chap down the road.
I'm sure women are completely capable of...
I couldn't agree. I'm just reading out the comment that she's made. Thank you for touching on that.
No problem.
I turned around to apologise, but before I even said anything, quick as a flash, Neil said, "Bloody typical of these little rusty screws," and gave me a smile.
With that, man.
Yeah, what a guy. With that, I felt a comfort and warmth I haven't felt since my father gave me a pat on the back in 2010. With that newfound confidence and lease of life, I managed to get the screws out no problem and sent Neil off with a wave and a smile. All in all, a lovely bloke.
Yeah, I'll think of him in a completely different way now, but sometimes that's all you need. If someone's nervous, give them the right pep talk. Provide them with a supportive environment and see them flourish. Watch them grow instead of going, "You wanker."
Yeah.
I've got a bad thing for that, Jim, in terms of it's if someone has done something to my property or something that I own, but it was clearly a mistake, I would go out of my way not to make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I'm saying so much so that it actually ends up costing me money. Now, case in point, right? I was driving, I dropped the kids off to school, and I was driving along, and a teacher blindly reversed out of a, so there was like parallel parking along here in a line, and then I was driving along, and she reversed the car, and it scraped the side of mine. And she was like in shock. It wasn't even a big thing, right? But the side thing was scraped. So she was in shock, and she was like, I'm so sorry, and she was on a bird of tears. And I went, don't worry about it. I'll sort it. Don't, and because I was getting my whole car resprayed anyway, I was like, just don't worry about it. I'm getting my car resprayed. Doesn't matter that you crashed into me and you weren't looking where you're going. Don't worry about it. Just because she was so worried and scared.
It's amazing that if you didn't mean to do it, it's absolutely fine. Like any mistake.
But some people do get angry with you, though.
Yeah, they do.
People, and you didn't mean it, did you? So it's not a problem.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Deep stuff today on today's podcast. Buffet talk.
Good stuff. Still another week, really.
It's crazy. It's crazy. A little different side angle on this one, and took me back to before I was 18. My sister would go to places like this, and I would think, wow. Just
read a comment from Robin. Does feel like you're blowing your own trumpet there.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't mean to. I just.
Oh my god, I'm watching Married at First Sight at the moment. Me and Fam are watching it. And
I've seen a couple of episodes.
Oh my god, there's a bloke called Frankie in it, and he literally cannot say a sentence without bigging himself up. It's amazing. It's honestly like this bizarre skill that I can't believe that he could do it. It's just crazy. Anyway, buffet talk, buffet chat. Cormac Lynch Collier, great name. Hi lads. I'll be attending a beer festival in a few weeks, and after hearing of your vast knowledge on best buffet tactics, I knew you were the ones to get the advice from. For $70, it's 3 hours of unlimited drinks from 27 different taps. Now, I'm wondering what's the best way to approach this. Do you start light and work your way up? Do you go for the unique varieties to begin with, or is it better to get in a few of the tried and trusted for some safety pints before venturing out of your comfort zone? Thanks, slugs. I'm hoping some of your buffet experience will translate here. Brackets on a side note. We can pick any 3-hour time slot between noon and midnight. What would be your choice? This is fascinating due to a few things here. First of all, you've got to think about traffic. You know, it's a bit like, you know, all right, we've got to go up to Manchester. Do we set off at 8 in the morning, try and get there earlier, but we know there's going to be traffic, or do we wait till midday where it's not going to be as... It's a bad analogy. The point is it's going to be hectic in the evening, isn't it? If you take your 3-hour slot there. So there's only so many members of staff, so that could affect the amount of alcohol you could take. Now, Sam's been in the chat, of course, as well, and I think Sam will say something in the chat where you must drink responsibly, otherwise it will come back and hurt you. So I think that's always something important to say here. But Flav, what are your thoughts?
Well, just on that Sam thing, because he drunk so much, there was at least an 18-hour period where we none of us were absolutely sure that he wasn't dead.
Yes, I was concerned for a couple of hours. Could you tell from my text? I was like, I've called him, and I've texted him, and I haven't heard from him.
Called him, he's not picking up.
Yeah.
And I said, he's probably dead.
Yeah, he's probably dead. You went for it, didn't you? We were all thinking it. It's like, God, I hope he's not dead.
He's
probably
dead.
I
really hope Sam isn't dead.
What would you do?
For me, it would be like a 6 till 9 job, and then you can go out after. That's what I thought. That would be perfect, I think.
So you're not concerned the fact that everyone else is going to want to do that, or is that just part of the ambience of the festival? Probably is.
Yeah, I think like a lively sort of room. We did this once, Jim. Remember we went to a beer hall in Old Street or wherever it was, with Ball Street, and it was fucking rowdy. Like people, actually, you know what? I didn't like it. It got on my nerves. People were pissing me off. Actually, you're right. They were jumping on tables and smashing and stuff, and I was like, I feel like I've done it. Weren't my vibe.
I don't feel like this is one that you try and beat. I think that's a dangerous. Some buffets you don't look to beat. What I would say is, because you want to survive. First pint, I would go with the pints that you really want to have first, and $70. So what's that? I guess
a lot.
That is quite a lot of money. Yeah. So 50 quid. What's that? So that's like 10 pints. Which I can drink 10 pints. I can drink 10 pints.
I don't think I could drink 10 pints.
So I think
I'd be hammered.
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely hammered. It's a lot of money, but maybe you're paying for the experience. You're paying for all these different beers that you can drink. So I can kind of get it, but don't think of it as about getting your money's worth because you'll miss the rest of your night.
Yeah.
You'll just be battered.
Exactly. Yeah. I would go, and I would just go with I would. Do you know what I would do? I'd have a look at I'd try and find out what the different taps are. If you're into your beer, I'm not really into my beer. I'd create a list, priority list, and work your way down it and see where you get, but don't rush it. Enjoy yourself.
If you pass out, just make sure you get your mates. Make sure you get your mates to pour the remaining value of beer down your throat while you're passed out. Just don't walk away from there cheated. Make sure you get all the beer in your body.
We've got a super chat. Maria. Hi, Maria. We know Maria. It's been a long time, she says. I haven't managed to catch them live, but we still don't know where we've been. Showing There's been success. Forget it. Showing kindness.
Maria, you've paid £10.
I know. What are you doing? Should have just become. You could become a patron twice on 2 accounts with that kind of cash and have £2 spare. Showing kindness brings the best out in others.
Can I have half of it, Jane?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You keep saying that, but I never see any of it.
We'll sort that out.
All the super chats are going into your pocket, basically.
Yeah, they are.
Should we talk about this now or not?
Yeah, maybe later. Showing kindness brings the best out in others. That's nice. Also, Spurs better not ruin mine and my son's birthday Sunday. I have a feeling they will.
100%, Ria, your birthday is going to be completely fucked by Spurs.
Wouldn't it just be football that, like, Newcastle win 3-0? Steve Bruce is like a god.
Yeah, that's the way football goes. Like, there's not a worse. You wouldn't think that there's a worse time to play a team that hadn't won a game all season is second bottom, but now we're walking into guess. They might do us, aren't they? Yeah. I would be prepared for it. I think we all are prepared for it. That said, I feel, especially after this Villa game, things might be improving for Tottenham.
Something's happening there, is it?
Yeah, maybe. Nothing's happening. No, look, let's get this straight right now. Nothing is happening at Spurs. I'm just saying we may be playing a little bit of a better brand of football.
Got to be beating Newcastle away. No excuse.
No
excuse.
Spurs.
Yeah, you struggle against Newcastle, don't you? Jim chat.
I struggle to get everyone.
Robert Denton, Jim's story. He's quite angry. Absolute cretin in one of those wafer-thin vests that never managed to cover their nipples using the leg press, grunting and howling away like a dog for 10 minutes. But he's laid his giant gallon bottle of dusty water on a different machine to the side of him. So what I'm about to reveal here is something that happened to me this week as well. Because I know you're still struggling to work on your byarms, but make sure you let me know when you do get yourself back onto that.
Yeah.
Someone comes up asking if the water bottle was his, and Dogman replies, "Yeah, I'm using that machine. I'll be done in 10 minutes. He continues to swap between the two every 2 minutes while I'm sat opposite in disbelief. Now, there's a comment below from Will Tate. He goes, "It's a superset, mate. You're not wamp, clearly." So this is a thing that is happening in gyms. I wasn't aware of it, but I'm not happy because it happened to me. There's a bit of apparatus available. I'm looking to go work on my byarms, and some guy goes, "Oh no, I'm using that." You're not using it. You're currently using this thing, and he's like, "Superset, I'm doing a superset," and I'm just like,
Jim,
what?
Do you know what I've noticed about you, mate? It's becoming clearer and clearer. You have a problem with authority.
Maybe.
No, you do. You don't like rules. You don't like being told what to do. You don't like... If something you feel isn't logical, doesn't make sense, you will not accept it.
No, that's not it.
That is it.
One of my triggers is a lack of understanding of the people around you. This comes in many forms. It comes in getting on a tube before I've got off it. Okay? That's be aware, let people get off first. Moving out of the way. If someone's got 2 bags of whatever it is, or they're running, be aware and just help each other out. That's another one. getting in my bubble or talking too loudly. Again, you're not being aware of other people. Okay, I can't handle it. And this is the same thing. You're not aware of the world around you. This is a public gym. You can't be hogging. And I know it's like, yeah, but I'm trying to get my ultimate gains. Fuck your ultimate gains, all right? There's 2 bits of apparatus. You use that one. I'll use this one. And when we're done, we can swap if you want.
I'm sorry, it's not authority. It isn't authority. That was the wrong thing for me to say.
Okay.
You don't like etiquette.
Poor etiquette.
You don't like etiquette. Like it was the unwritten rules that exist that don't quite make sense. That really pushes your buttons. Like case in point, when you went and played golf with your dad, and the guys was and your dad knows the etiquette is to play pace that means everybody can move. You're like, I won't be hurried. Actually, fuck the etiquette.
It's being inconsiderate. It's being inconsiderate. I've got no time for that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. You see your face. I can see you make this expression like that. Like something's going down, you don't like it, and there's absolutely no chance you're not going to mention it.
I'm terrible for I go if they're like not even aware that I exist, and they just go, well, he'll move out the way. I will scream, "You're welcome," in their face as they pass me.
Right. So someone says, "Yeah." So when you're driving along, Jim, and you give it that, right? That one just little.
I'm very clear with that, actually, Flav. I'll go like that.
Hang on, let me see. I'm not looking at you.
Oh no, I'll do that. I do the thumb.
That's quite a lot. You do that?
Yeah, but I just want to be clear. I want to be like, thank you.
No, it's nice. It's nice, Jim.
Or the little flash.
Little.
Yeah.
Often I'll just have my hands on the steering wheel and just give it the old.
You do it too. I think thin lips is important with that. You've got to go. Do you know what I mean? When you do it?
Don't do that.
That looks dodgy, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that looks dodgy. Yeah, but sometimes, do you know what I like? I like sometimes if I'm driving, the power move. If you're a bloke or a woman, actually, the power move I think is when you're driving, you drive past them, you go thanks, and they just give you a little. Now you don't know. It's not enough to know did they absolutely acknowledge my saying thank you to them.
Yeah.
But little nods like, yeah,
Nods
I don't need
enough.
to do more than
Nods
that. I've already. Yeah, I like that.
Interesting. I would love it. This is something I've really wanted to. It's completely stolen by Hamish and Andy. Is the power move thing. I'd love for people to in the comments write down some power moves that in your life that you've utilised or you've undertaken. It's completely stolen from Hamish and Andy, but I think it's hilarious. And also, I'd quite like to know, write in the comments things that you think wind me up. I'd love to know if there's.
What have you noticed about
this?
What have you noticed about James that you're not sure he notices about himself? Like, what are they?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, for example, one might be, and this is not about my character, but about my fucking whatever they are, tics. I'm doing this and touching my face constantly, and I sometimes watch this back and go, why am I touching my face so much? I don't know why I do it. I never knew that I did do it until someone put a camera on me. So that was interesting, but also completely fucking annoying because I'm constantly aware of it now.
Yeah.
Rob Turner says opens up Microsoft Word.
Oh dear. Yeah. The amount some of you lot have been watching me, the amount of Jesus. This is a dangerous thing. I think ignorance might be bliss for this, but we'll see. We finish off with some Flames advice. My name's James. This is Flav. We are Flames. Remember that?
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. It does no one, because I think we've got to remember that there's no one else who can have that. Flames.
No, unless there is another Flav. No, there wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be, would there? I think we need to embrace that a bit more.
No, you could maybe. No, I suppose someone was called sort of Fleming or something like that. No one's called Fleming, are they?
No, I don't think so. Hope not. If you are, let us know. Jamie Daly, here we go. Damn, I shouldn't have said his name. Oh well.
Wait, before you go into it, so people might forget, I was just listening to the radio, David, just while we're talking about names. Have you met anybody under the age of 35 called Alan?
No.
They don't exist.
Oh dear.
Like Gary.
Gary's fading out.
They're dying out. I don't know. You don't know any Allens under the age of 35. if there is an Alan in Britain under the age of 30, that would blow my mind.
Yeah, let's know. If there's someone who watches who's called Alan around 30, that'd be great to know. We can ask you. Flav will do a podcast with you.
So what's it like being called
What is it really
Alan?
like? Yeah.
Ryan says Saint Maximin, but that's not. He's not.
Alan.
It's Alan. It's not Alan. It's not Alan like
Alan Armstrong,
who was definitely born in Dudley. Alan from Dudley. Do you know what I mean? McBin, you know quite a few. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar and a scumbag, mate. Yeah. There's no chance you know quite a few Allens that are aged under 35. Prove it. Line all your Allens up with spoons.
Yeah. Right.
I know quite a few Allens. That is nonsense. Just throwing shit out here. Saying stuff for nothing.
If Alan chat becomes a thing, that feels like a new low.
Yasin says, have you ever met anyone under the age of 40 named Sue? It's true.
Yeah.
Sue.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're right. Sue and Alan.
Do you know what Fam said that as well? Fam was talking about, imagine someone like a baby called Mark. It's weird. There are Marks, aren't there? There's not baby Mark.
Mark's much more common, but I know what you mean. It sort of feels like it's... These things have cycles. It's cyclical, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's
called Leo now. Everyone's got an O at the end of their name or an A at the end of their name.
Mark Withers says, I know 2 Sues in their 30s. Liar.
Oh, that's just a lie. Spoons.
Lying.
Spoons. Right. Oh, by the way, the guy with the eggs. That was amazing on Twitter.
Oh yeah, we go again.
I can't find it quickly. Sorry, but well done. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate it. Right, here we go. Flames advice.
Yep.
Long-time listener of Jaffin and TFC. Sometime commenter here. Might need a bit of Flames advice if you lads don't mind. Went to a mate's wedding last week. Lovely time, and the bride had been so kind as to arrange the seating plan with me next to her single friend, one of the bridesmaids.
Bosh.
We had a good chat. We were getting
honestly, like just to cut there. If you're single and another bridesmaid is single, that's like if you can't hook up there, you've got no chance. Like it's never gonna happen with you. Go on, go.
Yeah. One thing I would say, if that's never happened to me, but if it were to have happened to me, don't be the one who tops up her wine. Do you know what I mean? It just looks bad.
Yeah, creepy.
It's
creepy.
Let's just get
go on,
that's dropped a bit down, is it?
You finished it? Yeah, you finished.
Bit more?
Yeah,
bit more. Well, it's free, isn't it? It's free, isn't it? Bit that down, yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Creep.
Went to a mate's wedding last week. Lovely time. Anyway, done that bit. One of the bridesmaids. We had a good chat. We were getting on well. One of my friends who I play FM with, that's Football Manager, new game coming out November 9th, was also there on a table across the room. Small bit of context, we had an FM save together where we managed both Bristol clubs and took them both to the Premier League and Champions League glory. This is why I'm still single. Anyway, yes. Me and the bridesmaid were having a lovely chat. It happened to be my birthday that day, when suddenly my mate shouts from across the room excitedly, Jamie, Bristol, as he points to a woman next to him who has apparently just told him she's from Bristol. He can't contain excitement when he hears the name of that city and the Champions League glory of FM it brings to mind. I'm pissing myself laughing as he keeps pointing out and now quietly mouthing Bristol across the room. The bridesmaid seems to ignore this and then proceeds to get very drunk as the wedding goes on, and it limits much more talking opportunity. That's very sweet. However, as the night goes on, multiple other guests at the wedding keep coming up to me telling me she likes me. I don't know whether this is even coming from her, brackets, or the 17 glasses of Prosecco she had. Just pouring it for her. How does he know it's 17? I think he poured it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was pouring it. But we end up having a little drunken dance before I get her a lot of water and get her mate to take her to bed. Class act.
What a gentleman.
Couple of days pass and we exchange some messages. The chat is a bit dry. And I can't tell if she's embarrassed from getting so drunk at the wedding or just not that interested in talking to me. I leave it a couple of days and she messages me. We end up having a nice chat and I pluck up the courage to ask her to go for an Italian meal, not man, next weekend. She seems keen, even dropping a yes defo ! In a reply.
That's good.
It feels like there's a lot of pressure here, though. Here's the twist. She's good mates with the bride, and probably everything that happens on the date will be relayed back to my whole friendship group, who have already been pestering me about her. I can take a bit of banter, but wondering if you lads had any Flames advice of how to best navigate this dinner, any conversation starters, and what to do if the conversation is a bit dry. I think she'll be very shy if she's sober, but I don't particularly want to be funneling wine into her. Good. Either, as that feels a bit morally questionable.
Yeah, but don't dissuade either.
Yeah. Happy to update after next weekend. Up the pod and the Spurs.
You are. I think you're overthinking this a lot, and you're creating a stressful situation that doesn't necessarily need to be there, isn't it? You're worried about all these things. Don't worry about it.
Depesho in the chat says the defo that was replied is a good sign,
especially with the exclamation mark. 100%.
Indeed.
I do like, and that's quite bold. Should we go for an Italian? Do you want to
yeah, very specific.
Very specific, but everybody loves an Italian.
Yeah, it's safe, isn't it? It's safe.
You're building it up. Just relax. And what do you think, James?
I would. Yeah, I understand the pressure because I think actually he's been quite aware there that she. The thing I would say is that it's not just because you know those other people. Just with other people that you've dated in the past doesn't mean that they didn't tell their best friend everything as well. That's what women generally do. They tell their best friends, they break it down, and they get advice, just like you're doing right now. So
yeah,
I think that's it. Do you know what it is? It's just like it's like saying, "Oh, sing in front of 25 people, but you don't know who they are, and they don't know who you are," or sing in front of 5 people and you know them all. You'd be dreading the one where it's people that you know a little bit more. So
fair play.
That's why you're dreading it a little bit. I think I think you're right. But the booze is a good lubricant. Not literally. I mean, in terms of conversation.
To be honest, I would struggle. If I was dating. I never really had a date though. That's the thing, is I'm not the best place to ask. I've never had a date.
I think alcohol is helpful.
Really helpful.
You don't need to be terrible with it, but
don't. And wine is good. Wine is good because a couple of glasses of wine, that's the perfect amount. Like it gives you a nice warm, glowy feeling. You feel comfortable, and it makes you want to talk, and chat. So I would say that'd be that's probably the best thing. But yeah, too much is a problem. But I don't think.
Do you know what's good? Do it on a Thursday. Go do a Thursday night one where it's like you can be excited and have a couple of drinks because it's Thursday. It's been a long week. Blah blah blah. But you don't have to go mad because you've got. It's not a Friday night one where you could go crazy. There you go.
Yeah. I like this. What Ollie Sachs said is, honestly, it's just so cliche, but just be yourself. You sound like a sound bloke.
Yeah.
And he does, doesn't he?
He does.
Doesn't sound like an arsehole. And she likes you already, so we can worry about.
Importantly as well, I think Pahutan said tiramisu is the aphrodisiac. So make sure you get yourself a tiramisu as well, the Italian. Probably why you've chosen the Italian.
Is that an aphrodisiac? I've never heard that.
It's for me. Bloody love tiramisu.
Really?
Oh, I love
you eat tiramisu and want to fling it up?
Yeah. I just want more tiramisu, to be honest. Don't worry about it. Go for it. If she is if she's a bit shy, but she's on the date, just remember she's on the date.
She's on the date.
She's on the date. Go get the gravy.
Go and get the gravy.
That's it.
Mate, she likes you. You like her. I understand. What the good point is like running out of conversation. I never actually had that. I've never had to worry about that. But I can it's horrible when imagine aphrodisiac means someone. Rob just says aphrodisiac means it's like something that's sexually stimulating after you eat it.
Yeah, we know that.
Rob didn't.
Right. Oh right, he doesn't know. Oh sorry, he doesn't know what it means. I thought you said he was explaining that. Do you know what I think? I think also utilize things you got in common, which is that all those people. So you can go, what are they like? You can talk about them. So that's a good point.
That's great. That's great. If you know all the people, then 100%. They're your talking point.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Get the gravy. Give us an update. Best of luck. Thursday date. Get a tiramisu. Do drink, but not too much. And break the ice. Asking about the wedding and all that stuff. It's fine. go get the gravy.
It's
for God's
fine.
sake. Right.
Want to know if it gets put on you? What are you going to do then, son? If she puts it on you, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. I don't want to add to your stress, but
yeah, are you making the move? Who's making the move here?
Who's making a move? Go and get it. But then how much of your evening is going to be shared around the friendship group? Yeah. Not only got to impress her on a date, you got to,
Yeah, you got to satisfy the public. I'm sure you'll be fine. Hit the like button if you believe that Jay should go and get the gravy. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed the podcast. Hit the like button if it's a Friday. We hope you've enjoyed it. Flav, congratulations on your overlap appearance. It stole the show for me, I've got to be honest. And what's really great is that you've been so open and you've let us know what really happened on the overlap this time. Yeah. Right. Let us know whatever you want us to talk about in the comments. We'll, of course, be back next week. And that's that. Any final thoughts, Flav?
Rebecca Cully just said make sure she pays half. That's an interesting question. Maybe it's something we can deal with in the Mailbag next week.
Interesting. Yeah. If you want to become a patron, links in the description. Have a great weekend, guys.